dreams. We all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show tonight. I've got a job that's as exciting as watching paint dry. I'm Rusty, your friendly neighborhood purchasing agent. Before we dive into the world of office supplies and procurement, I just want to share this little gem my manager told me. Rusty, your work is so slow that even snails have started using you as a role model. While working as a purchasing agent, this is what my manager said about my work. Rusty, your purchasing skills are so slow, even a sloth would call you a speed demon. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. You're like a human paper shredder, but instead of shredding paper, you shred efficiency. My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, if laziness was an Olympic sport, you'd win the gold medal without even trying. You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. I asked you to expedite those orders, not explore the mysteries of the universe. So, my team leader came up with this singer about my work. You're so disorganized that even your post-its have lost their stickings in protest. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. I've seen glaciers move faster than your decision-making process. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? Your attention to detail is so lacking that you'd probably misspell purchasing agent on your own business card. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. I told you to cut costs, not cut corners. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. You're the only person I know who could turn a quick trip to the supply room into an epic quest. It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. You're so absent-minded that you once ordered a crate of staplers instead of staples. You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. You're like a tornado in a paper factory, lots of chaos and zero productivity. So, there I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, if your work ethic were any slower, it would qualify as a new form of meditation. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. Your spreadsheets are like a maze and not the fun kind with a prize at the end. Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. You've mastered the art of procrastination to the point where you're practically an expert. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. You take working at a snail's pace to a whole new level. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, your idea of multitasking is checking your email while pretending to work. One day, this is what my supervisor said about my work. Even Office Fern has a better work ethic than you. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. You're so unproductive that you could probably sleepwalk through your job and no one would notice. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. Your filing system is so chaotic that it looks like a tornado hit the supply room. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. If I paid you by the hour, you'd owe me money by now. Another day I went to work and my manager said, your idea of working from home seems to involve napping more than anything else. We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. You're so slow that you make a snail look like a Formula One racer. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings? I've seen glaciers move faster than your response to urgent requests. I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, but you can't seem to get anything right. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. You're like a GPS that always takes the longest route to the destination. Just this Wednesday, my colleagues said this about me. You're the reason we have a surplus of obsolete office equipment. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. Your time management skills are so bad that you once missed a deadline for a project yesterday. You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. You're like a human time warp, where minutes feel like hours when you're around. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, if productivity were a sport, you'd be the reigning champion of inactivity. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. You're the only person I know who can turn a 5-minute task into a 5-hour ordeal. So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. You're like a computer with a dial-up internet connection in a world of high-speed broadband. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. If laziness were an Olympic event, you'd be a gold medalist. I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. You're the reason our office supplies budget is in shambles. So, my team leader came up with this singer about my work. Even a toddler with a crayon could manage our inventory better than you. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. Your work ethic is so weak that even motivational posters roll their eyes when you pass by. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings? You're like a human snooze button, except you never stop snoozing. It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. You're so disorganized that chaos looks at you and says, "Wow, that's a mess." So, there I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, "If incompetence were a superpower, you'd be the hero we never asked for." Here's a good one. My head of department's take on my work was, "You're the king of I'll do it tomorrow in a world that needs things done today." Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. If you were any slower, you'd be going backward in time. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? You're like a human version of the loading symbol, constantly spinning, but never getting anywhere. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. I asked you to streamline our processes, not turn them into a labyrinth. One day, this is what my supervisor said about my work. Your idea of productivity is sending one email and taking a coffee break. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. You're so slow that even a tortoise could beat you in a race to the copier. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. If you were any more laid back, you'd be horizontal. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. Your work pace is so leisurely that even sloths are jealous. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. You make the DMV look like a model of efficiency. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, "You're the reason our office has a no napping at work policy." You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. You're like a human version of the spinning wheel of death on a computer screen. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. If we gave you a turtle as an assistant, the turtle would probably complain about how slow you are. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. You're so slow that you once missed a conference call with a snail. We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. Your idea of a quick decision is only taking a week to think about it. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, "I've seen glaciers move faster than your project timelines." Another day I went to work and my manager said, "Your desk is so cluttered that archaeologists could excavate it." You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. Even a sloth on a caffeine high would outwork you. Last week, my controller threw this curved ball. You're like a sloth with a time card, punching in and out at your own pace. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. Your work pace is so glacial that you make Antarctica look like a bustling metropolis. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. If you were any more laid back, you'd be in a recliner with a remote control. Just this Wednesday, my colleagues said this about me. You're so slow that you could time a sundial with your productivity. While working some extra hours, my team said this. Even a snail would get frustrated waiting for you to make a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you've had as many laughs as I've had mishaps in the office. Remember, in the world of purchasing, I may be slow, but at least I'm consistent. Before we go, here's one last gem from my manager. Rusty, you're so bad at your job that even our office plants have started outsourcing their oxygen production. Thank you and good night, everyone. Thank you for being here and have a good day. See you on the next one.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe?
Hey, I may be the worst at my job, but at least I am entertaining. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your manager is saying about your work. And if you didn't enjoy this show, well, I promise I'll try even harder to disappoint you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay employed and keep smiling.